Hey guys, welcome into the inaugural episode of 4 Down Territory with co-host AJ Lawrence. I'm Bobby DeMuro, and we don't have much else to say. Let's get right into it.
All right.
First down now, we're talking about college football bowl previews. It's bowl season, it's Christmas time, so you know what that means. That means watching a bunch of 6-6 teams while you're eating way too much food at home and wishing that mom and dad would do your laundry or something. That's what it means to me. But before I embarrass myself, AJ, let's get into the bowls. And we're just going to do the big ones, guys. I don't care about the BBVA Compass Bowl. I don't know about you. Let's start with BCS. What about Michigan State and Stanford? The Rose Bowl, going to be played January 1st. To me, it's defense. Michigan State plays great defense. They embarrassed Ohio State with their defense the other day in the Big Ten Championship. Who do you like in this game, AJ? Because I've got Michigan State winning like maybe 10-7. It's going to be boring.
You know what? I actually agree with you on that. I think Michigan State's very much going to dominate. Cardinals, not looking strong.
Not looking strong at all. Stanford's a tree, for God's sakes. Fiesta Bowl, going down the list. Now, this one's interesting. It's Baylor and Central Florida. Both teams are 11-win teams. You know, Baylor's got the great offense. They score literally about 45 points a game. Oklahoma State really found them out a couple weeks ago in the regular season, and ever since then they've been a little shaky, and I love Central Florida. Coach O'Leary is my coach of the year. Here's something for you. If you were a 4-year starter at Central Florida, the last 4 years, your team has won 38 games in your college football career. So I'm a Central Florida guy on this one, but they're a big dog. Who do you like, AJ?
I think I'm going to go with Central Florida.
All right, there you go. Big dog, I think they're a 16.5 point underdog, but okay. We like the dogs on this show, apparently.
We do.
Moving on to the Sugar Bowl now, our third BCS Bowl, Alabama and Oklahoma, and this one's fascinating. Oklahoma gets a BCS Bowl, kind of a surprise, but they're a good team. Alabama should have been playing for the national championship,
yes.
And then that game with Auburn happened, and they're not anymore. Saban's pissed, right? Alabama's motivated. You got to love Alabama this one.
No. Alabama, I think they're out to get it, especially, Saban, he's telling us he's not going to Texas, and I think that Alabama's going to show that they're here to stay.
Yeah, he's telling us this week he's not going to Texas. Stay with us in a couple weeks, he'll be a Longhorn, but that's a different topic. We like Bama for the Sugar Bowl. All right, let's move on to the Orange Bowl. I don't give a damn about this game. I'm just going to be honest. It's Clemson. It's Ohio State. I do not care about either team. They're both overrated. Who do you like, AJ? Because I don't care.
I'm Ohio State.
I am too,
yeah.
But I just don't. Ohio State's played nobody. They played Michigan State in the Big Ten Championship, and they got beat. Clemson played nobody, and the two teams they have played, South Carolina and Florida State, beat the crap out of them. So I just don't care. It's Ohio State. I think Meyer prepares his guys better probably than Dabo Swinney, but I'm not sure I'm even going to watch that game. One game we are going to watch, actually, and we'll probably do another topic on a future show about this, is the BCS Championship, Florida State and Auburn.
Yes.
The undefeated Florida State with Jameis Winston at quarterback, the Heisman winner and all this sort of stuff, and Auburn, the team of destiny, who wins every game by the weirdest way and the weirdest margin possible. I like Auburn. I've got some reservations, but who do you like in the national championship?
I think Auburn's pretty good, but I really don't know how it's going to end up playing out. I think I'm going to go Florida State.
Florida State's probably the safe pick. They're probably a little bit better. The thing I would say is Auburn's the team of destiny. They have these weird victories and these underdog, amazing comebacks with Georgia and Alabama. It's a 50-day layoff, though, between their last game and the BCS National Championship. And when you talk about momentum, I think they lose it completely, and Florida State's a better team.
But I think Winston really carries it, and especially coming off of the season and where he's been going, his talent, I think, is extraordinary, and it's going to lead them to the victory.
And on an honest note, no more sexual assault charges for Winston, so that's off his mind. That was awkward. All right, last one on the bowl thing before we move on, and this is interesting to me, the lock of the bowl season. Besides those BCS games, we're each going to pick one team that we are sure will win, and in fact, AJ is so sure she's putting up the title to her car on her game.
It's a Fiat, we're good.
So AJ, who is your lock of the bowl season?
Well, I think I'm going to go with Minnesota.
Good pick. Over Syracuse. Syracuse is 6-6.
Yes, they are.
Minnesota's not much better, but enough from crappy Syracuse.
Yeah, good enough to beat Syracuse.
And that's the Texas Bowl, by the way. So you've got two cold weather teams going to Dallas, or maybe it's in Houston. It's a minor bowl game. Who cares? I've got the Sun Bowl. We're filming this in L.A. UCLA is going out to El Paso to play Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's got a quarterback in Logan Thomas who people thought was an NFL candidate until they realized he turned the ball over on virtually every play. UCLA actually has an NFL candidate, and Nick Hundley is their quarterback. I think UCLA destroys them. So there are bowl games, guys. While we're thinking about it, we've put up on our website 4 Down Territory's bowl picks of the season, and each one of us has picked every single bowl game, so you can make fun of us on Twitter when we get them all wrong. But I'm going to win. All right, let's move on to second down. We're not at fourth down yet. Here on Second Down, a little more controversial, a little more serious topic, concussions in the NFL. The reason we do it, AJ, you've got a legal background, and it's interesting because everyone phrases and looks at concussions from a player standpoint, from a public health standpoint, from a medical standpoint. We're going to look at it from a legal standpoint today. So I guess start off for me, AJ, and help me understand. Has the NFL done enough with these rule changes to show that it understands it's liable for these concussion issues, and are they kind of proving that they're concerned about this in the right way?
I think the NFL has taken the right and appropriate stance. In large part, they don't want legal liability in the future, and this is a serious concern for the players.
I'm glad you said legal liability because we've got former players suing the NFL.
That's correct.
And it's true in other leagues. I think it's happening in arena football a lot. But looking at the NFL, do these former players have legal standing to sue? Because I've been talking to people about this on the street, and apparently it's controversial. People are saying they knew what they were getting into. Football is a violent game. They have to deal with it. Can these guys actually sue and win?
Well, legal standing is a little bit different than whether they actually have a claim, and they certainly have standing because they played, but in terms of whether they have a claim, they actually kind of do, because the bigger issue is whether the NFL was withholding information, not sharing with them the fact that they could be heard and suffer these long-term consequences from these concussions. And so they're coming from a standpoint of, you knew it and you didn't tell us. And these are the players that opted out of the large settlement we saw this past summer, and they're, pretty much doing the same things as those players did, where they're bringing their claims and having the right to get their share and portion of the cash, pretty much.
Does the NFL argue, though, because I understand that argument from the player side, but does the NFL argue and say, hey, medically we didn't know enough about concussions, we're not liable? Is that going to be their response to a lawsuit like that?
To some extent, there will always be that argument there, but it'll be a question of what did you actually know, and I think that there's kind of enough going on right now and enough in the books to show that they did have an inkling that they had a problem there.
Now, last question before we move on. We know about sideline protocols, concussion stuff. Broncos wide receiver Wes Welker a couple weeks ago actually got a concussion in a game and then missed the next one because he failed the sideline protocol. From a legal standpoint, what is next for the NFL in concussion reform? Is there something they need to do next to show that they're serious about it? Is there a PR move maybe they make, or is there something legal that they can do in the future?
You know what? I really don't know, because it seems they are really pulling out all of the steps with the preseason assessment and then the sideline protocol, having someone on staff for the medical team down on the sidelines, and then also having someone in the box monitoring to see if there are any symptoms or signs, and then also following the game and tracking the player and getting the independent doctor to approve. They really are taking all the steps that they can take at this time. So if there does become more, maybe in terms of medical advancements or some kind of pads or armor that that the players can wear, then that would probably be the next step. But right now is where we are. I think the NFL's doing a pretty good job.
We'll move on to robots, maybe. All right, let's move on. Speaking of moving on.
All right, well, let's go ahead to third down, and we're looking at the MLB hot stove. We know things have been getting pretty heated in the off season, getting that free agency market. And
yeah, I want a little bit of that money.
Absolutely, and well, we know Robinson Cano got his $240 million from the Mariners, and it's a 10-year deal.
$240 million. I don't know how you feel about this, but he's 30 years old. A 10-year deal for a 30-year-old. He will be 40 when that deal ends. My math isn't great, but something tells me that's 30 to 40 roughly. I'm cool with $24 million a year. I think he's that good. He's a Hall of Fame second baseman, or he will be. I think the Mariners just wanted to meet Jay-Z, right? That's it. They just wanted to shake Jay-Z's hand.
I actually think they wanted a connection to get to Beyonce.
Maybe that's...
we know what that's about.
We all want the connection to Beyonce.
Absolutely. But, with Cano and making this move, it was about, security for him and also respect. And the money is good, but the security, knowing 10 years where he's going to be, and also having a team that values him and makes him feel he's wanted and is willing to pay up, it means a lot.
Well, and New York papers are saying that he claims that he did not feel valued by the Yankees, right, during these contract talks. And I can't help but wonder if Cano's move from the Yankees signaled that this is the end of a major era for that organization. Pettit's gone, Clemens is gone, Rivera's gone, Jeter is about... he can't play forever. And Cano knows that that's happening. He doesn't want to be around in 5 years.
Yeah, and, kind of what is the face of the Yankees now? I think they're kind of in a position where they're going to have to revamp that.
Maybe Jacoby Ellsbury, but that's, if you're a Red Sox fan, we won't talk about that. Speaking of big money, though, let's look at Bartolo Colon and some of these pitchers who are getting just mad cash. Yeah, I said mad cash. Bartolo Colon is 41 years old. He weighs like 400 pounds. I might be being generous, too. How did the Mets give him a 2-year deal?
Well, the thing is, his last year was exceptional. He was on the All-Star team. In terms of performance, he's just
he got his AARP card too. He's 100 years old. I don't get it, but the market for pitching money is amazing.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think about all this money. Let's move to our fourth down.
On our fourth down, we have to ask the sincere question: is what's up with hockey?
Nothing.
They've had the lockouts, they're not getting the airtime, they have extraordinarily expensive tickets, and yet they do not have the calling. Why are they still around?
I have a theory on this, and I'm sure I'm wrong about it, but AJ, let me ask you, when you were growing up, did you ever play catch with like a friend or your dad or something? You pick up a baseball or a softball. Did you shoot a basketball?
Yes.
Did you throw a football?
I did.
So when you go to a football game, obviously we're not professional athletes. We don't look like it. We can't do it. But you
Maybe
can. Well, that's true. We can conceptualize what it is to throw a football or throw a baseball. When you see somebody doing it, you understand. How many times have you been ice skating?
I have been ice skating a whole maybe 3 times. They were very painful experiences. I fell down. It's very, very difficult sport.
And every time she goes to a hockey game, she cries. I saw it myself. No, but I mean, seriously, but that's it. You can't conceptualize ice skating. It's foreign to you, and all the players are foreign. In baseball, you got, 15% are Latin American players. In hockey, 100% are Canadian and Northern European. I just think it's hard for Americans to conceptualize, and it doesn't hurt when tickets cost $100, $200, $300 a seat.
True, absolutely. As Bobby was pointing out, we all got to play soccer growing up, basketball, baseball, things that we could do. But with hockey, you're going to need an arena. You're going to need the ice there. It's also pretty, there you go, it's expensive. The pads, the training, to be able to ice skate is difficult in its own, and chasing a puck around. I just think it's a foreign concept to us. But we do love our Canadians. Justin Bieber, you're where it's at.
And it's a beautiful game. I mean, it's fun to watch one or two. I just can't get into it. I just can't get into it.
Yeah, and the thing is with the fights, I know there's a little bit of controversy and talk in terms of limiting them. I've got to say, I saw the Emery battle earlier this fall. It was a little rough.
AJ loves a good goalie battle.
Yeah, I do. It's a little rough. It was good, though. Little MMA on the ice.
Well, if we ever talk about hockey again on this show, it will probably be goalie battles, so watch AJ to lead that one. That's all the time we have today on 4 Down Territory, guys. We're going to do a couple sound-offs in the next few weeks. We've got another episode coming to you 2 weeks from today, but in the meantime, talk to us on Twitter. If you totally disagree with us on hockey, let us know. We want to argue with you. Don't we seem kind of combative or something? That's it on 4 Down Territory. Thanks for watching. For AJ Lawrence, I'm Bobby DeMuro. We'll see you next time.